The main reason I came to attend the United Nations General Assembly was to highlight the plight of people of Kashmir. There are a lot of problems. We are trying to fix a lot of things. Pakistan faces challenges, and so therefore I would not really have come out at this time. But I came out to New York only because I felt that unless we highlight what is going on in Kashmir, the world is not going to know. Neither will the people know the oppression that is going on, nor will the world understand that this is just the beginning. It's going to get worse. And there's a potential that two nuclear-armed countries will come face to face at some stage. So hence, I felt that it is extremely important that we highlight what is happening in Kashmir amongst the world leaders and a forum like the United Nations General Assembly. Today, 50 days, people of Kashmir have been locked down by 900,000 soldiers. For 50 days, there's no news coming out of Kashmir. There's a total news blackout. I have met Kashmiris in New York who have complained that they can't get in touch with their families. They don't know what's going on. We know of mass arrests. We know that the entire leadership of Kashmir, even those leaders who were pro-India, who wanted to be part of India, even those Kashmiri leaders are now somewhere in jail in India. We know that young people, boys, have been picked up. We know that the hospitals are not functioning. One of the members who came to see me, who belongs to Kashmir, told me that his relative suffers from dialysis, has kidney problems, so has to have dialysis, and he's fearing for his life. So basically, my whole point of saying of coming here was to highlight this. This is unprecedented. 8 million people in an open jail is unprecedented in this day and age. And then this nonsense that this is a part of India, so the world should stay out. Just to remind the world that there are 11 Security Council, UN Security Council resolutions that recognize Kashmir as a disputed territory and which gave the right to people of Kashmir the right of self-determination through a plebiscite to decide their destiny. That right has been given to the people of Kashmir. For 70 years, this plebiscite never took place. And then unilaterally, this BJP government has annexed Kashmir. They have gone against their own constitution. They've revoked the constitution of Article 370. And so what we fear now, I mean, the next point is what is going to happen. What we fear, and which is the stated aim of the BJP government, that they will change the demography of Kashmir. To change the demography of an occupied piece of land is against the Fourth Geneva Convention. It's considered a war crime. And secondly, the biggest worry is what happens once the curfew is lifted. We fear with 900,000 soldiers there will be a massacre. And that's also what we are trying to tell the world community, that they must act on it. And my other fear is that India, for whatever is happening in Kashmir, will blame on Pakistan. Last February, there was a Kashmiri boy who blew himself up on an Indian military convoy. The parents of the boy said that he was radicalized by the security forces on some checkpoints or something. Nothing to do with Pakistan. Yet Pakistan was immediately blamed for it. I went on air and said, if you give us any proof that Pakistan is involved, we'll take action. Before any proofs could come, the Indian jets arrived. They bombed us. In retaliation, Pakistani jets went and bombed India. On their way back, they were chased by 2 Indian jets who were shot down. Immediately, we returned the pilot who fell in Pakistan, and we returned to India. But unfortunately, that was treated not as a gesture of peace, that we didn't want escalation between 2 nuclear-armed countries. It was taken as a sign of weakness, how we were scared of the might of India. And the sad fact is that unfortunately, India today is governed by a racist, a Hindu supremacist, a party, RSS, which was banned in India 2 or 3 times as a terrorist organization. RSS was responsible for the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is a life member of RSS, was responsible for the pogrom which took place in Gujarat, where 2,000 people were butchered, burnt, under his chief ministership, and for 3 days the state did not do anything. 150,000 people became homeless, Muslims became homeless. Unfortunately, India is past 6 years, is being governed by an extremist party. It believed in the ethnic cleansing of Muslims from India. This is what the founding fathers of RSS, you can just Google and read what they said, who they were impressed by. Adolf Hitler, Mussolini were their role models. This is all, you can just Google it and you'll find. And this is what we face right now. The moment my party came to power, we tried to do everything to mend our relationship with India. I approached him, I called Prime Minister Modi, said, we have similar problems. You and we have poverty, unemployment, and of course climate change is going to affect both Pakistan and India. And all these efforts were rebuffed. We thought it was because of the election campaign. We thought maybe, a nationalist party would pander to its base. So we waited till after the elections. And once the elections were over, we again approached them, and then we found that they were trying to push us into the FATF blacklist to bankrupt Pakistan. That's when we realized there was an agenda. And of course, on 5th August, the agenda came forward. They do not consider Muslims as equal citizens. Neither do they consider Christians as equal citizens. They do not believe in the Nehru-Gandhi secular, plural Indian society. India is changing, has changed in the 6 years. I know India. I have friendships. I know through cricket. I know the India of Nehru and Gandhi, and I know what is going on now. So I'm alarmed, and I think the world leaders need to know. I've spoken to the world leaders. I've spoken to President Trump. I've spoken to Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister. On telephone, I've spoken to Angela Merkel, to President Macron of France. I've spoken to the Muslim leaders. And this is the time for the world to act before this goes too far. Because this is the first time after the Cuban crisis, 2 nuclear-armed countries are going to come face to face. And what we fear is already the statements that are being given, that terrorists are being lined up on the borders of Kashmir, waiting from Pakistan to go inside. What sort of a nonsense is this? What possible benefit is Pakistan going to have now sending in terrorists when there are 900,000 security forces there. All that will happen is that there will be more oppression on the people of Kashmir. Why would we want to? What will be achieved from that except Pakistan will be blamed, and secondly, there will be more oppression of the people of Kashmir. But this is typical. I've heard Prime Minister Narendra Modi talk about this, that Pakistan should stop terrorism. What is worse than this sort of state terrorism that is going on? How can anyone justify 8 million people locked up inside? What justification could there possibly be for this? For 50 days?